Welcome everyone back to the Rust tutorial on my channel. So today we're going to talk about new topics about the tuple, and we're going to try and go to the array also. Last video we talked about functions and all that good stuff was covered in the last video. New one here is a tuple. It's a compound data type, but it says right there. And that basically means we can store more than one value at a time. So we can store different kind of values. An example here is that a normal simple data type storage way variable array could only store like an i32 variable, like a single integer value. So we need to focus on the syntax. And the syntax is, well, something like this or something like that. So we can actually, it's a pretty funky way. We can like let the variable, and then we can apply the types of 1, 2, 3, and the 1, 2, 3 value have to apply to those kind of values. And we need, it would seem we need to do it this way, but we can also do it in another way. So let's go ahead and try some of this already right now in our program. Let's do a let variable and call it values, just like that, equal to something, and then put a hello inside, a 1 and a 1.2. Does this work? And it does say unused, so that's great. So let's go ahead and say print line, and then from this, let's do the correct syntax. Then values, I suspect we can do something like this. Let's just see. So we do the index. No, we cannot. Why can we not this? Use. So is it like dot zero? Know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, so that's a very interesting way to access the index of a storage tuple, is just putting a dot that's actually accessing its position. So that's really great. So if I do number 3, which doesn't exist, I'm going to get an error message. What is the error message? It's an unknown field. So it is a great way for you to know what the compiler actually says whenever you try and do something that is not there, for example. That is accessing a particular value. I've seen it so many times, even on my own students, that they have some sort of loop going on, and they keep getting like, oh, why is this unknown? They don't understand why. And the whole fact is that if they just debug it from the bottom down approach, because they keep looking at the data and say, but we take data in from a file and we create this tuple, and then all right, so maybe it's because you are populating one too little, you're asking for one too much, right? So I'm gonna have to go through that systematically. So this is a way of following examples, play the value in tuple. So they create a tuple with the actual type, so we have to obey to those types, which is one way of doing it, of course. And then you could ask yourself, is this better or is that better flexibility-wise? Well, once the tuple is declared, they cannot grow or shrink. So right now we kind of need the this is why, this is better than this, or we don't know yet. So, and we can see that the syntax used of an question mark and after a colon does actually give us the I would probably call it debug output in my eyes, but we can do it here, for example, and say like, I want, the tuple itself printed out, so you can see the surrounding syntax delimiters, just like that. And if you did it like with just one value, for example, value 1, it should definitely just show us the number 1 again. So that's one way of doing it, of course. I'm pretty sure if we just did it like this, we get some sort of weird error because it says like, oh, it cannot be formatted. So I I think we could I think we should definitely pay attention to how this works in Rust because it's a different way of thinking. It's very strict towards how you can access a variable, how you can access a certain index, and you would definitely need some way of, finding out whether this or that value is of a type of something before you print it out. That's probably the case in this particular setup, and we will learn that, but I just don't think it's very important finding all the specifics right now, but it is of course important to understand how to ask for a specific type. And whether that can be done, we could probably test it just saying I equal this, and then say like dot number one. And is that a way of, actually doing it? And we cannot do that. So I don't know how to ask for a specific type. I don't really know that yet in Rust, but it was something along the lines just like that I actually thought about we could go ahead and try, right? So, now it does have this particular case right here where it actually shows us how to print out each individual value just by, saying we don't really know the type and then just printing it out. Oh, it's one way of doing it. Um, yeah, but again, I would still prefer some sort of way to loop through it, and this is where I'm still thinking about how to tackle this problem in the future, right? So we have the another illustration of the following example: pass a tuple of parameters of function. So okay, so it's just like saying x is the tuple and it contains three values of this, and this type, and have to be in the same order. I'm pretty sure that is the case. Have to be the same order. So position one, integer position two, boolean value position three, float value, and then it can basically just output it and well print it out and show the whole tuple value. So passing tuples to functions is a great tool, and this is not really a tutorial on why that would be great, because there's so many ways to combine data and how to pass data to functions. Not really my focus today. It is okay. So destructing assignment is a feature of Rust wherein you unpack the value of a tuple. This is achieved by assigning the tuple distinct values. Consider. So we have a variable right here, containing this tuple with these three distinct values. We print it out. Then we have a function that takes this tuple as an argument. We print out, we insert the function. Now we create a variable where we put the values inside three variables. And then we can say distinct variables. And that would, I'm just looking right now, it looks weird. This would have to be some keywords, whenever the compiler meets these keywords, it would take whatever's up here. I'm just guessing, or down below, I don't really know. But this is something we would need to play with in order to get into the. Yeah, so let's see the nitty gritty one. So we do this and we get some errors. Why? Expect one of the. Ooh. Okay, so let me just see. This was actually a part of the. Okay, so it was just part of the. How funny! How funny! Which is part of the comment. This is how would I know that whenever. But I could of course read the comments. Just didn't do that. So this is why we also copy paste things over so we can play around with it. So in this particular case here, we can actually grab the values, but we still is just making a copy of them in one line. So That's great. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about arrays now, which is the next one. It's not the longest one. It is actually a pretty long one. Okay. So I think we're gonna stick to not covering arrays in this video because I thought it would be shorter, but it's actually longer than tuples. And tuples again is a compound type. It contains multiple different kind of data types, and we can shuffle them around, in the way we would like. And people, they might ask why to create tuples, all these kind of things, and I want to say it's not this video where I get all philosophical about it, but I am thinking about creating one of those philosophical programming videos where I talk about why to do this and that, and what situation could be favored for creating a data type of this or that, because this is a thing that you do not learn on the school bench. You're not really learning how to do it because it's difficult to, many of the programming education these days only lasts for 2 to 3 years, and then you can stop and take a job. At that time, you're pretty busy just learning languages, learning how to do data shuffling between databases and how to optimize that, for example, how to write the code, learn a framework, maybe use an ORM and stuff like that, learning, SQL, maybe some NoSQL and so on. And then there's no time for the philosophical parts of when to use this or that. And what would it actually mean to choose a specific data type or another in the future of a program? When is it too late to choose another data type? When are you too invested? These are things that are, something that needs to mature with people. And I just don't think I can cover this just by saying it. But as I already said some of it, you should definitely think about what I said. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that because it will help me to grow the channel. Also, it will help me earn a little extra money so I can invest in other different kind of recording stuff for my channel. For example, new camera, which is kind of, I haven't just one of the cheapest camera I have right now, but it's working. So anyways, see you again. Have a really nice day.